This Alexa Flash Briefing is sponsored by Team Automotive Group.
Hello, everyone, from WAFB Channel 9. I'm Matt Williams with those Friday headlines. Welcome to it, everybody. End of that work week. We're going to get into that forecast in a minute. Got to know what's out there for your Friday. Everybody has those weekend plans, so you need to know when that rain's showing up, and yes, it will. So we're going to get to that in a quick minute. But I want to start you with a little bit of breaking news into the newsroom this morning about 5:30. Let's take you out to this scene. This is Eaton Street near Winburn. Clearly, the Baton Rouge Fire Department with a big job on their hands here. You can tell the damage done to this home. Looks like the center of that home just completely gutted, but you can tell this home is just going to be considered a total loss. What we know is, yes, Baton Rouge Fire Department showing up at about 5:30 to this fire. What we don't know just yet is if anybody was home. That's still being determined and worked on right now. The cause of the fire, all of that. There were some hot spots going still a couple hours later. So, yeah, big scene out there. Fire Department with an early start. We will keep you in the know as soon as we begin to learn more. We've learned more now about how folks in Iberville Parish are going to be managing school transportation. When it comes to those who typically use the Grosse Tate Bridge, they're now going to be using that pedestrian ferry. Actually, a bit of a discussion yesterday, and you see some of the folks here kind of showing up to be a part of that discussion, wanting to know the particulars, or how my kid's going to get to class, because this bridge is going to be out for a while. The ferry is going to be running, but is the ferry going to be running? Who's taking priority? Well, they got some answers. Student passengers are going to take priority over adult passengers. Here's what parents in the area need to know. If you are going to be using that ferry or another mode of transportation that you haven't used in the past because of all this, the unique situation, they need that transportation form filled out. There's a deadline. It's July 31st. August 8th. The first day of school. July 31st is going to be the deadline to get that transportation form into the school system so they know how your child's going to get to and from, that kind of deal. But trying to make it work down there, Iberville Parish and Grosse Tate. Look, it's back to school almost all over the place, right? And so there's a number of events going on today into the weekend, next week. Back to school drives and supply giveaways, that kind of a thing. WAFB.com is the spot to be here. Check this out. Our digital team has all of this in one location, one-stop shop for you, broken down by, date that's the primary one, right? When it's going on, and of course then where it's going on, what you're going to be able to get. Check this out. Scroll through all these, find the one that's perhaps nearest you. Work out the timing and see if you can't get out there and get some of these supplies to get you going. Back to school drives all over the place in South Louisiana as we, get back to school. Now, here's the thing. It's not just about the supplies you need. You got to have those, depending on where you're going to school, the uniforms. And not everybody does, which is once again why we are proud here at WAFB to partner with St. Vincent de Paul, the Uniforms for Kids drive. Let's give you a look here. We've got about 4,000 on our way to, we need a little bit more than that. You can see the total we're heading towards. And so this depends largely on you. And every single year you come through donating to the Uniforms for Kids drive. And every single year we're able to make sure that our kids have not one but two uniforms ready to go, one to wash, one to wear as they get ready for that first day of school. Nothing like putting on those fresh threads and walking down the hall for that first time. Just kind of get you in the right frame of mind, right? If you can, please jump online. $24 gets those kids those two uniforms that they need. Speaking of uniforms, you're going to see a lot of those here pretty quickly. Tonight, the opening ceremonies of the games, the Olympic Games in Paris. A lot of red, white, and blue. A lot of LSU, a lot of purple and gold there going to be represented. Check this out. Our Matt Venezia was live this morning. This is one of the stories he was talking about. You got better than 30 current and former LSU Tigers at the Olympic Games. That ought to be fun to watch. Now, look, just in general, the opening ceremonies really ought to be something. This is not teams marching around a stadium, which is always kind of cool. The opening ceremonies are always kind of neat. This is a boat parade down the River Seine, right through the heart of Paris, with a backdrop of some of the great scenes that you are used to seeing from Paris. This ought to be something. Opening ceremonies begin 12:30 this afternoon, our time, so it's like 7:30 Parisian time. Anyway, the Olympic Games underway in Paris, about to be. Here we go. Come on, go Tigers. Go Team USA. Let's give you a look at the forecast. Got to get you ready for that Friday and the weekend beyond. Friday morning, looking mostly calm for us. The current radar kind of playing that out. But you get that future cast running, and you kind of get the timing again. And man, this is a familiar pattern, isn't it? This is like the last number of days, that big piece of energy moving in from the Louisiana-Texas border, making its way east. It's just the timing on when that might get to the Baton Rouge area and really begin to impact South Louisiana. And then when you look at the 10-day forecast, you see very familiar patterns. But look. Maybe at the back end of next week, we start to get below that 50, 40, 30, 20% chance of rain. We might get to dry out for a minute. Maybe. Fingers crossed, huh, everybody? Y'all enjoy the weekend. We'll see you on the other side of it.
Sponsored by Team Automotive Group.